Welcome back to another episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama, where we read people's submissions and then we give them advice on everyday life. I think that we are the best at giving advice because God said, "He who without sin shall cast the first stone," and we are without sin. So
you've never sinned?
No,
not once.
I don't think. Yeah, what are sins? Define sin.
I mean, that's the question. It's
Like,
what is a sin?
If I think of the 10 Commandments, I have never coveted thy neighbor's ass, no matter how big and juicy
I
it
don't
was.
think that's on there.
That's in the 10 Commandments.
Not covet thy neighbor's ass. No.
That's what I'm saying. I've never coveted thy neighbor's ass.
Those words are not in the 10 Commandments.
I feel like it is. What is it?
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
That's definitely from some teenage rewrite of the Bible. I remember when they came out with like the teenage Bible. That's like, yo, dog, don't covet your neighbor's wife. But it is covet thy neighbor's ass. It's just like in the Lord's Prayer, where it's like, at the end, it's, how does the Lord's Prayer go? Give me the first little bit.
I don't fucking know that one.
How's the Lord's Prayer
Our
go?
Father who art in heaven.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I don't know it. But at the end, it's like, and forgive those who trespass against us instead of, I don't know, forgive our trespassers. And then they changed it to those who trespass against us because, I don't know, whoever rewrote it was like, the people ain't going to understand this. They're not going to know who a trespasser is.
So my wife became less religious right as we were getting married, but she wanted to make sure that we didn't do any sly stuff with the whole religion side of things. So I have claimed to be a Pastafarian before, like a flying spaghetti monster,
Right?
Convert.
South Park. Yep.
Well, long before South Park, but yeah, they might have talked about it.
God is a giant spaghetti monster.
Yeah, they didn't come up with it though. But I agreed to that. I was like, okay, we're not going to do anything along those lines. And then one of the guys that I was working with that came, he decided he was going to do the Pastafarian prayer. And it was like, our spaghetti draining be thy noodles, blah, blah, blah. And just said the whole thing. And I was like, let's not.
I feel like that's too much in that direction. The flying spaghetti monster, if someone says that, I'm like, haha, funny joke. If someone's then like reciting the spaghetti monster prayer, that just feels like they're into that, like a CrossFit person.
Well, I mean, when you get blasted with it all the time, it is something funny to, I'm trying to find the actual text for the commandments.
Just look up 10 Commandments.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
That's not. It's covet.
Thou shalt not
the original scripture.
Desire thy neighbor's wife.
That's the rewrite. That is the translation of the translation.
You actually think that they said
covet thy neighbor's ass?
You're being funny right now.
But the whole purpose of that is to say don't covet thy neighbor's stuff, like what thy neighbor has, kind of like a envy type situation. But the original scripture says covet thy neighbor's ass, because an ass is a donkey. And that's what it's meant for.
Well, that might be in it, but it's like don't covet their house and their wife and their.
No, in the Bible, when he's telling this to Moses, he says, "Covet thy neighbor's ass," which I would have been, one of the people in the crowd looking for, the land of milk and honey. That would have been like, but he said, "Covet thy neighbor's ass." What if you got a fatty, bro? But that is the original scripture of it.
I got to look it up because I just don't. So.
King James Version.
Well, that
10
one's
Commandments.
edited too, but thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's
ass. Look it up like that.
I'm looking it up.
There's some quotation marks in that.
Is a humorous twist on the 10th commandment from the Bible. Exodus 20:17, Deuteronomy 5:21, which actually forbids coveting your neighbor's house, wife, servants, ox, donkey, or anything that belongs. So I guess in there, the ass was a valuable asset in ancient times. But once again, it's in there. It's not like he didn't say, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's ass. It was like
That's what's written on stone. That's what's carved into stone is covet thy neighbor's ass. Not covet thy neighbor's house, wife, all that stuff. It's covet thy neighbor's ass. I promise you.
I gotta find that.
I promise you.
We'll look that
Somebody
up.
hand me a Bible. Somebody hand me a Bible. Jamie, bring me a Bible. Just like crack that bitch open.
I'm gonna look it up after the show.
All right, so we have some submissions that people either need advice, they need to know if they're the asshole or not. So we have a submission from Kendo. It says, "Am I the asshole for declining a +1 invitation?" Dear Mike and Dylan, I have changed the names in this story just in case. I don't want anyone getting their panties in a wad. How many people do you think listen to this podcast? Because, yeah, I don't think
only you.
Right. Imagine they go to their family and they're like, looking around. And it's just like, well, I don't know if any of you guys listen to Mike and Dylan Hate Drama. And they're like, what is that? And then they check it out and they're like, this is the most do we need to put you in like a home or something like that for listening to this?
Well, they did away with all the psychiatry destinations, so you're not going to get to go to any fun place where they give you pills.
They did, man. Like, I remember back in the day, we had like Dorothea Dix and mental health and all that stuff that you could go to if you were crazy. And now it's just like, nope, you can go to the hospital and then
prison.
That's it. Yep, hospital and prison. That's all sick people get now. I'm writing this here because apparently I'm the only human alive that doesn't know what the fuck a Reddit is. Growing up, my best friend was a girl. We'll call her Ruth. Just for you, Mike. They only make Ruths in 70s or, little babies. They don't have the transition. Like there's no, as soon as Ruth hits 4 years old, 3-4 years old, they immediately turn into a 70-year-old woman. Now, I'm a divorced dad of 2, and she is married to a woman with one child. Okay. They decided to move out of state, so we haven't seen each other in several years, but we have kept in touch. Her wife, we'll call her Christina, and her have had their ups and downs with divorce being possible on several occasions. About a year ago, we were catching up, and they had finally figured out how to keep their marriage happy and strong. Now they're polyamorous, or whatever the hell it's called. Polygons. I like that. What do you say? Like, how do you say a polyamorous person?
I like polygon.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, that's what we will say from now on. And then someone's going to write in and be like, hey, I am actually polyamorous, and I find this to be disrespectful. And I'm like, hey, sorry your relationship's so strained.
I didn't mean to offend your shape.
Right. Go ahead and axe that relationship. Apparently, she's coming back to my state for a wedding and asked me if I would go with her and that she'd take care of our hotel. I tried to be respectful, but I think my exacts were, oh, hell no. For context, when my friend introduced me to her spouse's name was Christian. That's right, fellas. Christina is transgender. Now, I don't care how people live their lives. If it makes you happy, I don't care what you do, but I prefer my women all natural. Hell, I can even be tricked into drinking my coffee with hazelnut, but I knew her before the transition. That's not for me, y'all. So tell me, fellas, am I the asshole? My thing is, if they're polyamorous, that means they're not doing the same person. I think you had you just interpreted it wrong.
Well, I mean, you could still do the same person. Like, it's polyamory is just like it's open and you can move about the cabin however you want. But
I don't think what they're doing is polyamory. I think what they're doing is like couple sitting at a bar on vacation, and then they come over and talk to you, and they think that. What are you doing here? And it's like, oh, I'm like partying with my friends. And they're like, yeah, well, you seem like a young, strong, strapping boy. And I'm like, I am. Yeah, I am. I've been known to lift a couple of weights here and there. And it's like, well, how would you feel if you were to bang my wife in front of me? And I'm just like, what was that? What?
This sounds like a story that actually happened.
What was that? And it's just like, yeah, man, I want you to. And I'm like, but you're my supervisor. And it's like, it's okay. Hey, man, if anything, you get props from me for doing it. And it's just like, I want to go home now. I don't want to partake in this at all. Or, I have been approached to be the person not in the bed with the wife while the other person sits in the chair. One time is far too many times, but more than once. And one was just like, you're my supervisor. And then the other one is, I'm your supervisor. I cannot do that. And he was like, I make you all this food. You disrespect me like this. And it's like, no, I'm not disrespecting you, bud. You're a great forklift driver, but he technically, all technicality, he didn't want to sit in the corner. He wanted to participate. Yeah. And I'm just
with
like,
you.
Nah. We had to fire that guy because I think I've told this story before, but we had an operator, man. He was a little bitty guy. He was a little dude, like, 5'5", like 105 pounds, little guy. And because as soon as work was over, I locked up. I went the fuck home, and they were out there. Like, the guys would like hang out and smoke weed in the parking lot and shit. And
There's so many better places to smoke weed at.
and then a work parking lot, yeah. But that's when he decided he was going to see if the little operator was down for some stuff, and like had him pinned up against a car. So we had to let him go, unfortunately.
He was asking for it. Did you see what he was wearing?
Yeah. Oh, he was dressed to the nines. Yeah, he was dressed like he was a Gen Zer in the thick of it too, man. He would dress real nice for a place where you could get ink on you.
He was asking for it.
But yeah, I mean, I guess our advice with that is, you know what? Try it. See if you like it. You don't know.
I mean, if you don't want to go, don't go. Like, I don't think any of the rest of the story is needed. Like, if you want to go to some event with them, go. If you don't. But like, it's not about.
But what it sounds like to me is that it's just her.
Well, yeah, I think he's just was invited to be the plus one. I don't think there's any sexual stuff going on. I mean, maybe there was. I didn't hear. There's an event going on.
I remember when people on the left were saying that, hey, if you didn't sleep with a transgender person, like and you didn't view them as like 100%, you were homophobic, and I'm just, or I guess transphobic, and it was like, well, I guess I'm transphobic, bud. I'm all for your rights and everything like that. I don't like. It's just like they're like, well, what is that you don't like? And it's like the dick part. I don't like dicks.
Well, the thing is it's. They're allowed to have their preferences. You're allowed to have yours, and it doesn't have to be like that's my whole thing with this story, though. Is outside of all their sexual, like I don't think it's inviting him for sex. I mean, maybe it is, but I didn't read that into it. It's just like, do you want to go to this event with me? I don't want to go to the event. Period.
Did I show you that Australian? I guess he's Australian governor. He's a very wild dude. I don't know what he is actually. He's a politician, but he's like, I don't care what people have for their proclivities. Let 1,000 blossoms bloom. And he's all happy and shit. And then he immediately gets angry and he's like, but I don't got time for any of it because every 3 months someone's getting snatched up by a crocodile.
Yeah. I mean, there's more important things to
What
worry
happens
about.
when you can't hunt crocodiles? They get humongous and then they start eating everybody.
Well, population control.
They are literally tanks of mass destruction. Like, imagine it's like, elephants, humongous animals. They kill people, not at like a crazy extent like crocodiles do, because they have a brain. Like sometimes they do get fucked up and like they're animals and they get territorial and shit like that. Now imagine though, a humongous lizard, humongous. We were at the zoo, man, the fucking North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro, and it was the alligator feeding time. And they have a monster there, like a monster alligator. And we're watching him feed, and I was like, how scary would it be if this guy fell? And he, as literally as I thought that, he fell backwards. And I'm just like, oh my God, are my kids about to watch somebody die? I'm about to watch somebody because if he got snatched up by this alligator, I don't think people could have got there in time to save him.
No.
But and it's just like, why? Why are these things? How do you in early Australia, early 1900s in Australia say, hey, we got to save these things?
Well, when they probably were hunted to extinction. Like, I mean, that's the thing is like right now
but
in our country,
good.
No. Like,
good.
I mean, that's like the people that want to get rid of like mosquitoes. Mosquitoes have a point in the life, like the circle of life.
They do not. Scientists have said if mosquitoes, because they present no real positive to the ecosystem.
You can't make that judgment. Like you can't just like decide, okay, this thing could go away. Like when you're talking about all the other animals that live off of their larvae, their bodies themselves, like you can't. It's impossible for us to say like, oh, these aren't important to the food chain.
So actually, Dylan here trying to play scientist without doing any of the research as Michael has. Okay,
so you've read one thing about how they like, and there's still the same thing.
So when
that
you
goes,
think of an animal's
give me a
diet.
second. Give me a second. Like the same thing happens every day with global warming. It's either not a problem or it is a problem. You can have you can have scientific research on any of this stuff, and so one group of people say, "Hey, this has no bearing at all." You can't say that. Like with alligators and all the rest, like they have a purpose in the circle of life in an ecosystem.
So when you think of the eradication of a species, what you're thinking about, okay, if this animal dies, what was it eating that is now going to become overpopulated?
Not
Nothing.
necessarily. No.
Nothing, because
No.
all they do is they eat blood from animals, and that's it.
It's not only that, because then what survives off of them?
Yes, okay, so that's the second part. If this animal goes extinct, what animal now has nothing? And there is no animal there is no species that solely survives off of mosquitoes alone, that it is now going to have no food. So yes.
Well, then the populations of all the other feed would have to go up in order for that to be.
It could stay the same.
It could not stay the same.
Yeah, no, look, it sounds like you're not well read in this area where I am a master of all things mosquitoes and that they can fuck off.
No. Like bats live.
Polar bears could also fuck off. That's another thing too, man. People don't think about that. Polar bears could fuck off. There's a bunch of animals that could fuck off, and it's not going to fuck with any. Like the seal population ain't going to get grow enormously. I'm all for global warming. People will be like, I don't think it exists. I think it's bad. I'm on the side of good. I don't want to be cold ever. I want it to be hot. I want it to be 110 degrees every single day.
And hurricanes and mass extinction.
Let them
events.
come. Let them come as long as look, it's like 41 degrees outside. Who needs that? What can you get done in 41 degrees? Not a goddamn thing.
What about when the hurricane comes to your house?
Fuck the mosquitoes. Fuck the polar bears. I live pretty far inland, so I feel like I'm okay.
Okay. We'll see when it comes due.
Well, once again, like I said, people will be like, A, they don't think that global warming is real, or they do think that global warming is real and the earth is being. My thing is, let it happen. Let it get hotter. I want it to get hotter. Fuck the polar bears.
It's going to be your kids that deal with it, not you.
They show me them little polar bears on the little sheet of ice, and it looks all scared and shit. Good. Fuck off. You and the cold fuck off, and mosquitoes fuck off too.
I think your scientific analysis is not correct, though.
I think my scientific analysis is correct.
No, you read one thing, and then you became an expert off of one thing.
Google it. Find me the article that says mosquitoes are necessary for anything. And guess what? If they are necessary, guess what?
Fuck
they
them
can
anyway?
Fuck off. Yeah, they could fuck off. If there's some kind of, they could call it the adorable toad because of how cute it is. And people will be like, oh my God, that's so adorable. And they'll be like, well, guess what? This dies if mosquitoes die. Guess what? Fuck off and die.
Well, just quit being a bitch. When you get bit by a mosquito, just take it like a man and quit being a bitch.
No, because I'm fat and juicy and they love me.
Yeah,
they
I
fucking
don't
love
get bit
me.
at all. So
Yeah,
that's why I don't care.
Because you're salty and not sweet like I am.
No,
Sweet and full of diabetes.
Yeah, diabetes. You're
And
not sweet.
and look, I want to enjoy my diabetes in peace.
Just don't have diabetes.
No, I'm going to enjoy my
Get rid of your
diabetes.
diabetes.
Fuck that. Fuck everything. I like to eat steak and delicious foods, and I'm not going to
Steak ain't
stop.
causing you to have diabetes, bro.
When you eat 4 pounds of steak, it will.
You don't.
You could eat healthy. I've heard someone was like, my sister's been on a diet before, and I see her eat a whole bushel of apples, and I'm like, if you eat a whole bushel of apples in one sitting, that negates the healthiness of something being for you. So it's not about what you eat; it's about how much you eat of it. And Daddy eats a lot.
Yeah, stop doing that.
No.
Keep the
Mosquitoes can just die. Mosquitoes, polar bears, that cute frog that I just made up can all die if it's not cold outside.
Let's just take out the falafel. You're doing that already on your own, so we don't got to worry about it.
Correct. Yeah, we ain't gotta. My time's coming. If anybody's gonna kill me, it's gonna be me.
All right. So Randall Flagg submitted the doo-doo bandit strikes again.
Uh-oh.
Dear root snatchers. What's a root snatcher?
Snatch things by the roots, I guess. I don't fucking know.
I'm writing to you from the front lines of a literal whodunit at my workplace here in Central NC. Hey, we're right there with you. You're local. We are being terrorized by an elusive figure we've dubbed the doo-doo bandit. This isn't just a one-time accident. This sumbitch is a serial shitter. We are finding turds everywhere, on the bathroom floor, in the showers. Who has showers at work?
It is the security guard that watches the building. You were in Central North Carolina. We had this happen at our place of business, and we tried so hard to figure out who it was. We thought it was this one special guy who worked on first shift, and we would have conversations with him like, "Hey, bud, it's okay to poop. Everybody poops. Let's just poop in the don't shit in the urinals. Don't shit in the sink." This person would shit in the sink. They would shit in the urinals. They would just shit on side of the walls. And it was the security guard the night shift security guard. And you're in Central North Carolina. I'm in Central North Carolina. I think that this guy, like, there's no way you quit a company and you're like, all right, I'm done shitting on things. No, you still shit on things. I'm telling you, look into them.
We're gonna get a update.
Yep. Oh my God, Mike, this is fucking crazy. It was that guy. Yeah, like you cracked the mystery. Because it's happening. I guarantee it's happening on third shift.
Even balanced it on top of the seat. So it has become a workplace obsession. We spend our lunch breaks cross-referencing bathroom schedules and analyzing the walking patterns of suspects. Yet the bandit remains at large. I've always been someone who admires a good shithouse poet, as workplace shenanigans usually make the day go by faster. But the bandit has taken his art to a new level. He has started leaving turds in unlocked lockers along with work boots. We all have our theories on who the culprit is, but until they're caught red-handed, we're all just living in a shitty thriller. Keep up the great work. In a world full of bandits, I'm just trying to keep my dick out and my shoes clean.
That's right. Look, I'm telling you, because this is exactly like the guy that did it at our place. It is if you have a security guard, it is that guy doing it.
See, we had a lot of people from Vietnam and then Africa at the factory that I worked at, and so there would always be shit all over the toilets. And I was like, how's this happen? And I realized that they don't sit on the toilet. They squat with their feet on the toilet seat and then shit. And I don't know that it's all of them, but there were people. It's kind of like if you have a high Hispanic population, they put trash cans next to the toilet because in Mexico, a lot of times they don't actually flush toilet paper. So trying to break that habit of like, no, you can put the toilet paper in the, like, but it's one of those cultural things where I think it was probably the Vietnamese that were directly from over there that they,
or it could just be some racism you got going on.
No, it's like, I mean, there's different bathroom. Like it's the same thing as like, don't trust a water bottle inside of a bathroom because most likely that water bottle is used as a bidet by a lot of the people from Africa. Like they legit wash their ass and that's not a problem. It's a problem that we don't have bidets available for them, but they literally will take a water bottle in there and spray their ass off. So, and that's
I feel like when you went to work in a factory, you got told some factory rumor and people, you hear the wildest things when you go into a factory and it's just like factory rumor. And you were just like, yeah, I'm going to believe this wholeheartedly.
No, it's cultural. Like you don't know any of those. Like you don't know that in Mexico, they don't flush toilet paper.
Nope.
You don't know that a lot of Africans use bidets. And so the water bottles are meant for
So why do they
ass.
like toilet paper?
Because it doesn't clean. Like technically, I think according to Islam is like you have to be clean. And so in order to do that, you have to wash your ass. You don't just wipe it.
Very nice.
And yeah, then in Vietnam, I think is the people where they have just a hole in the floor. And so you just squat over it. And so the same style of pooping, they just do it.
That's like Japanese bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
Where you just like squat over a hole. That's crazy.
So you're claiming I'm ignorant, but you just proved that like all those things are real.
I guess I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's just funny to think that Dylan heard like a rumor or something like that. I was like, I'm just gonna run with this.
No, I've heard the go down to the basement and get this thing, and yeah, I did not fall for those.
Like
jokes.
board stretcher.
Yeah.
Winter air. You got to put the winter air in the tires.
Yeah.
Now that summer's here, you got to put summer air in the tires. All right, so we have another submission. To the listeners' submission, 100%.
Here's the security guard.
It's the security guard. Yeah, he is. He's the one that's doing it because we had the whole shit and fiasco at our job site, and they were like, "Who is it?" And then they found out it was the night shift security guard doing it. All right, so don't fault. Oh, this is from Don't Fault the Maps. The title is "How do I tell my sister and her husband they can't spank their kids in my house?"
Get the fuck out of my house.
I think the way you solve this is you spank the kids because it's your house. So you gotta be like, hey, you guys can't spank your kids in my house. I gotta be the one that spanks them. So Hey, Mike and Dylan, your resident Mayo Dick lore keeper here. Every time I've tried to submit for advice, I just remember to punch them in the face and my problem does go away. That's a
solution.
Look, I don't want to say my advice is better than Dylan's, but a lot of the time it is. But as the title says, I could use some help. While hosting Christmas for my family this year, my 2-year-old niece was being 2 years old, was being a toddler and ignoring
She
her.
needs beaten.
Yeah, you definitely got to whoop a 2-year-old toddler. Was ignoring her mother's directions. My sister quickly escalated to threatening a whooping, and my niece straightened up. Backtracking to Thanksgiving, the same child was removed from the table for fussing over her eating. I'm not sure what happened in the entryway, but it solved the issue. I'm not trying to tell my sister and brother-in-law how to raise their kids. What I want to do is prevent my home ever bearing witness to such discipline. It's a touchy subject that my wife and I discussed not bringing up until they made a point to say or do something. Now that my sister has threatened to spank her daughter in my home, how do I tell her that my house is a no-go zone for such consequences? I think I'm going to get to the advice when we get to the advice part. My wife and I think suggesting going to their vehicle is a compromise. Punching them in the face defeats the purpose of the principle I'm standing on, so I request advice from the 2 smartest dads that host a niche podcast that I listen to. Much love to y'all, Labor Llama, and 9/11 Moon Pies. I think you have to have a talk with your sister that I don't... In my household, I don't view spankings as something that's going to teach my kids a lesson. How do I condone, especially like a brother and sister hitting each other? You know what I'm saying? Or how do I condone spanking my kids as to tell my children to stop hitting each other? It's like, y'all stop hitting each other or I'm going to hit you. I think it defeats the purpose. I definitely don't think there's a lesson to be learned when you spank a 2-year-old baby. I don't think that.
Well, the lesson is to not trust your parents anymore.
Right.
Your parents are now
bad, and you just smack them, and it's like, oh, what's over there? It's like, yeah, you better fucking listen to me and stop being a fucking 2-year-old. Who more is going to like break the rules and not understand dinner etiquette than a little baby? I think that's where you talk to them and you teach them about. I don't know. They're a 2-year-old. I don't even know if we're still talking about eating properly and stuff like that. So, as far as me, I don't know. I think you have a talk with the sister and brother-in-law about, hey, maybe you shouldn't beat the 2-year-old to learn how to function as a grown adult because they're 2 years old.
See, I think it's hard because in a lot of the places where I've seen like spanking still occur, I'm just like, it's not my place to like step in and tell you how to parent your kids, but at the same time, I'm just like, you see that poor little kid that like they look to you for guidance, for love, for everything. And
Fuck that, I'm gonna hit him.
Now you're the fucking abuser that you're gonna like, and I get it. Like that's how most of us were raised over time, but it doesn't work. Like, especially once that kid finally decides like, oh, me doing this, I might get in trouble and might get spanked or I might not, but like the spanking isn't so bad, so I'll just do the thing. And so then they basically become immune to that punishment. Like, so you're setting yourself up to where a kid eventually gets to the point where they're like, well, I'll take the beating and I'll just go do the shit anyways.
Well, or you get into these situations where you don't have a good repertoire with your child. Like they don't want to come and tell you things. And then there's these situations where they get online. It's been a big thing where now hackers will get like, they'll act like they're, a love interest or something like that. They'll get the kid to send them nude pictures, young teenagers. And then they'll say, hey, we're going to send this to all your friends unless you send us all this money. And then you got these teens now killing themselves because of this. Guess what? If they're not afraid to go to,
if they are afraid to tell you,
if they're afraid to tell you, then they're fighting this problem on their own. But if they have that, if you have good communication with your child and they know that, hey, mom and dad's going to help in this situation and they're not going to, fucking hurt me when I go and tell them this news, it's a lot better. Like if my son, if somebody had pictures, A, he's going to come up and tell me, but B, we're just going to be like, listen, bro. You just because if you give them money, all they're going to want is more money. So what we got to do is, A, we got to get the police involved, try to figure out who this person is. But B, worst case scenario, you got to you got to be proud of what you got because A, they're either going to send it out anyways, or B, nothing's ever going to come of it because they don't know any of your friends. So,
well, that's the wild thing is it feels like the whole world is like once somebody knows something about you, you feel like the whole world knows, but nobody gives a fuck in the general scheme of things.
Right.
And even if 7th grade sucks dick, 8th grade might not be as bad. And like by the time you get out and you have a job, like none of that stuff follows you. So like even if you were picked on and all
God
that.
damn,
like,
in 8th grade having a job, fuck.
You didn't have a job by 8th grade?
No.
I was working in my aunt's restaurant by 8th grade.
Nice.
Making my own money so I could buy my own drugs.
Nice.
Weed.
No, I was just like ripping stuff off of. I wish I had an aunt that I could have worked for.
It was very short lived. They had a restaurant, and it's like literally the easiest thing to spend a bunch of money on and then go out of business. And so I think she had it for like 2 years.
That's what we should do. We should start a Mike and Dylan Love hamburgers. That's our restaurant. That's for when we get big, because you know how every person's like, I'm gonna do a restaurant.
But I'm gonna have to fire you after like week 2. You're gonna be like, hey man, sorry. I
No,
can't make
we
it
don't
in today."
actually work in the restaurant. We don't even go to the restaurant. People just go to the restaurant because it's like, oh, it's Wahlburgers, the Wahlberg brothers, and because it's a play on their name. And would it be cute, Carl? We're on vacation, and they're always in vacation places like Myrtle Beach and shit. This never in like a small town.
So what's the upside to this?
I don't know. We go broke faster. Like that's
I don't think we need help in that department, Mike.
once we know, because this is just like the theoretical. We get
We actually hit the
we hit the
pinnacle?
mountaintop.
Oh.
Yeah, we gotta come down that slope anyways. Like I'm gonna pick up doing drugs. You're gonna pick up, I don't know, something.
I'll start a band.
There you go. You'll start a band. You'll throw a whole bunch of money into it to get features and stuff like that, and then we'll come crashing down. And as we're coming crashing down during the halfway point, we're gonna be like restaurant. That's gonna be the answer to all of our fucking money problems, and then we make the restaurant, and that helps us hit the fucking bottom quicker.
I say we have a mosquito burger.
And then this podcast turns into like a red pill or like some kind of religious podcast.
You probably will find religion by that time.
Because I'm sorry, man. Every YouTuber that I seen from back in the day, if they did not fail, they went into like heavy politics. Like that's what they do, is heavy politics. And I mean, we could do it today. I could start on the Felonious Falafel TikTok. I could just start talking about how anything. I could be like, the right in Jesus, and we'll get millions of followers. People will send us money and shit like that. And it's crazy. That's all you got to do is just agree with them. And it doesn't matter if you could agree with them and everybody make videos about how you're actually not for that. Like they could be like, Michael, this is none of Mike's views. He's just saying this. He literally got on a podcast and said that he was going to start this to make money, and he doesn't believe in any of this stuff. And then people are going to be like, well, we don't care what you say. All we care about is what he says because he's right. He's literally just doing this for money. They're like, we don't care. He's saying what we want him to say, and we're happy with that.
We were so far away from politics, and somehow you still like sidelined straight to it.
Because we were talking about the downfall, and the downfall is going to come with that. That's going to be at the bottom. At the bottom of all this is either that or religion.
Let's go with religion. At least somebody might get some value out of it.
The only thing with the religion is you do have to pick Christianity.
You don't.
You do.
You don't.
No, because imagine we choose Muslim, okay? And then we're saying all this Muslim stuff. Well, A, Muslims ain't gonna like that.
I'm gonna pick Buddhism.
But B, there's no money in Buddhism. You got to have one there's money in.
Yeah, there's plenty of money.
No,
There's
no money in Buddhism.
You say that, but we could literally come up with our own meditation thing.
Oh,
and then
you're thinking about
sell-
getting into like Crunchy Mom shit, like health oils and
Yes.
stuff. Oh my God. And then we could tell all the Crunchy Moms that, hey, if you sell our health oils, you can make money from doing that. But really, the money comes in from them recruiting other Crunchy Moms to sell the product too.
Yes, we pyramid scheme it.
Fuck yeah. It's not a pyramid scheme, it's MLM. And the difference is sometimes pyramid schemes make people money. MLMs across the board do not make money. So
We do.
you do have this is the funniest fact about MLMs, is you have more of a chance of making money in a pyramid scheme than you do in the MLM.
Yeah. I mean, they're the same.
But in an MLM, we will make money
Yes. So see, you said no money in Buddhism. I think we could do it.
because we just start it and we'd be like, listen,
Well, see, I don't even think we got to sell like the oils and anything. We sell courses on how to do proper meditation and things like that.
I was looking at the time. It's like, it was like we ran out of submissions
Yeah. Now you want to talk about politics.
because it's fun. I like it. Look, it gives us something to talk about, you know? And I think that when I view it back, a lot of the times I've been like, oh, like, we went too hard or something like that. And then I'm like, don't show it. And then I'm like, why the fuck does it matter? Like, it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of life, you know what I'm saying? What we say is like a fart in the wind.
Yeah.
We could sit on this podcast and we could talk about unity and how uniting is the only way, and everything's going to remain the same. And people call it defeatism, and it is, because we have been defeated. Look, I hate when like somebody, I watch a creator and they're talking about like how bad things are and how divided people are. And now the new term from Republicans and Democrats, if someone doesn't play along in the game, is like, oh, this is defeatism. Like you're talking like a defeated person. And it's like, well,
yeah,
you've been defeated. Like are you sitting here fighting against the cost of living? Yes. Are things going to change because of how divided Americans are today? No. Dude, I remember back in like early or late 1990s, early 2000s, where people were talking about like New World Order and shit like that. And then it's just like, you know, that's where everything's leaning towards. And like over time, you kind of see it play out. But the people that told you about it are now so wrapped up in whatever political side that they're interested in. They don't care about that anymore. They're just like, this is what I care about. And as we get more and more fucked, they're just so in the game that they don't see the stuff happening. It's like, y'all were the ones that warned me about it.
Well, that's the thing, is the boogeyman's always in the other person's, like, it's not your people that are causing the new world. Like, I mean, honestly, with like that Project 2025, like everybody on the right was like, that doesn't exist. And if you look at it as it's playing out, like all the agenda of that is slowly getting put into it. Like, I can't remember what the percentage of it, but it's like 33% of it's already been done, and it's not even a year into the administration. So even if it wasn't a thing, it definitely is a thing. Whether the people actually pulling the strings are doing exactly according to that playbook, but ultimately the agenda is still there. It's being executed. And so, yeah, the New World Order, everybody talks about it, and that, you know, the right wingers are like, oh, it's all those people on the left. And then all the people on the left are like, oh, it's all those people on the right. And then it's actually just the corporate sponsors that are sponsoring every single one of these politicians.
And damn it, look, if that doesn't feel like unity, like together we are dying. Yeah. And I love it. And it's beautiful. The thing that I want to do, though, is if we can get the podcast big enough, we can partake in that. Not as like
just piss ants that vote. We could be like people moving people to one side or the other.
That's what I'm saying. We can make money off of it. So that's where I think the podcast should go. So now it's like Mike and Dylan love Trump. Mike and Dylan love Soros. It's whichever side makes us more money. I think the right side is easier to make money, because the left side, you really have to be on like P's and Q's about what you can say, what you can't say, microaggressions and stuff like that. Yeah, they're policed more. So I think us going to the right, like, guys, all I got to do, we could say anything actually, and we would never be fact checked on the right, because all we have to do is, you know, we've been looking into this, which I don't even know what that means, but we could be like, you know, George Soros is out here bathing babies in fucking Old Bay and cooking them on a griddle,
getting them marinated before.
It's like Pizzagate. You know, how many pizzas are being ordered? They're talking about pizzas over here at this. You know, they were having a pizza party at this small Democrat gathering. Wonder what that pizza was. Wonder what ethnicity that pizza was.
Probably babies.
Yeah, it definitely was babies, but what kind of babies? We talk about Asian babies, African babies.
See, that's why they wanted to open up the borders, was so they could get all those illegal babies in.
And now we got to shut it off because they're saying, hey, and that's why, look, Mexicans think that, oh, we open up these concentration camps to hurt you guys. It's to save you from George Soros eating your fucking babies. And dude, that's it. That's it. We say that, make money. That's it. It's so fucking easy. That's Hodge twins. Every fucking person that I watched back in the day on YouTube that was like, man, welcome to my channel. This is going to be fun, a fun experience, and we're going to make fun stuff, and you're going to laugh and have. That's all they do now. Is all they do is talk about the other side and the crazy shit that they do. And I think, hey, you want to make some fucking money? That's all we got to do.
See, I've just got such a different YouTube experience because all my stuff was like based around producing videos. So like I didn't watch any entertainment YouTubers until like Mr. Beast, and then I don't religiously watch any of those. But like
listen, Mr. Beast. I am in the camp of, if you do good, I don't give a fuck. Like, people started doing the Christmas tree trends on TikTok where they would show themselves buying stuff on the little kids would put there. And I'm like, hey, I don't give a fuck. Do your corny little influencer, because kids are getting Christmas presents.
Well, make money to help people. Like if you're making money and then putting that money back towards something, and then you videotape that to then make more money, like that is the Mr. Beast way. And
right, because he has this whole philanthropy thing that nobody talks about. Like a lot of his videos, in order for him to do this stuff, the videos do well, and then he gives back to the communities and shit like that. With that being said, and how much I'm like, I think what Mr. Beast is doing is cool. The whole helping people hear and see and shit like that. How much, the way he looks now, I'm just like, look, his name is Mr. Beast. So I'm just saying, if the right really got onto him being the Antichrist, I'd just be like, yeah, out of everybody, yeah, sure. Because through the obvious, like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, the people that would actually fit the bill of the Antichrist. It's just when he smiles, Mr. Beast smiles, I'm just like, I am unsettled right now.
Well, the Antichrist is supposed to be extremely liked
by everybody, though. Yeah. So, and Donald Trump is, I think, hated more than
vehemently
liked. Yeah.
Despised.
So, and then also Elon Musk is.
Yeah.
So then you go to somebody who is, like, there are people who's like, I don't care. Nobody's like, I hate Mr. Beast. I fucking hate this guy.
Oh, there are people.
And a lot of people are on the bus of, well, he does he does good for everybody. I'm just saying, man, he named himself Mr. Beast. And in our year of the Lord, 2026, okay, you could be like, he could have named himself the Antichrist, not Mr. Beast. And everything we're saying about Mr. Beast is a joke, obviously. He's doing well for himself, for communities, for people. He's a help people out type of guy. Stop shitting on him, because you'll be like, well, he hired this person. Everybody you hire, you're not going to know what they've done.
Well, there's always going to be skeletons, no matter what. And like that's one of the craziest things about the people that like Trump is like, no, he's not an angel. Like, just stop portraying that. Like, come on, like at least be honest that he's a shitbag of a person. You like his politics, but he's a shit.
Right.
And like that's the same thing with Mr. Beast. I'm not saying he's a good and or bad person, but there's going to be things that aren't likable about, how he operates. For one thing, he was a fucking kid that built a $1 billion business off of YouTube, and like he's still a fucking kid just learning his way. So he's not gonna have all the answers.
He's not gonna be perfect.
He's gonna fuck up. He's gonna hire the wrong people. He's gonna have the wrong friends around him. Like that shit happens, and how he handles it. Once again, he's a fucking kid trying to do this. So,
but in 2026, the Antichrist could rise, and his name could be Mr. Antichrist, and people are just going to be like, "Well, it's a joke name,
play on words."
And he could be out there just like charming and shit like that, and like, I'm here to cause the apocalypse, and you know what I'm saying? I'm here to lead y'all astray from God, and it's just like, well, you know what? He's joking around, and all he has to do is say shit that, look, if anybody, I could be the Antichrist, because listen to the shit that I talk about. The shit that I talk about is only things that everybody's going to agree with. Like, burning pedophiles, everybody. Honestly, if someone was like, wait a minute, buddy, we shouldn't burn them, I just got to be like, well, now we have to check your internet history, right? Yeah. Anybody who talks against me, that's such a stance, too, that the Antichrist could make his platform on. It's like violence against pedophiles. Because
so who is the problem then? Like if the Antichrist is advocating against pedophilia, like how is he the bad guy?
But he's just getting people on. He's just getting people on his side though, because that's what he has to do. He has to make his rise by getting people on his side, and that's such
doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. Goddamn, it's like I know he's the Antichrist, and God just like I didn't know he was going to come at it with this angle.
So all the people guiding people to God are the predators, and then the person guiding you away from God is the one trying to deal with the predators. Like
I used to joke back in the day that we've only got one motherfucker side in a book. Like we don't have the devil side. Like of course, think about the Bible, okay? And it's like talking shit about the devil and how bad hell is and all this stuff. But when you really think about it, when they're like, well, when you die and go to heaven, it's going to be beautiful because it's like you get to see your family, and all day, all you do is sing songs about Jesus and stuff like that for all of eternity. And I'm like, that sounds shitty. Like imagine standing around having to sing about one dude, just like imagine if I was having a party, okay? And I was like, listen, everybody's going to come to my party, but all we're doing is we're singing happy birthday to me.
The whole time.
And it's like, that party sucks, dude. We're just going to go to Greg's party. I'm like, really? You want to go to Greg's party? Because at Greg's party, all you do there is burn and get tortured and sodomized. They're like,
no,
well,
he's got drugs, he's got strippers.
no, you don't word it like that. You're just going to burn, and it's going to be sad, and you're going to get sodomized
I
there.
know they're not doing that, but like that's what your pitch is. You're like, no, I was just at Greg's party last week, and
Yeah.
it was a blast. Like there was some crazy stuff. There was a couple fights, but like other than that, like yeah, no, it was a good time. No.
You burn. Yeah, well, it's like, well, fuck. Well, since we don't want to burn, I guess this is the only option that we have. You don't know. Hell, we don't have the devil side. We don't have the devil scripture. Like even Satanists, they just all their stuff is like, yes, this all came from man. Like if we had a book from the devil that was like, hey, look, it's not that bad. It's not bad at all. Like down here, it's kind of like you live life as a human, but you can't die. So I mean, like a lot of it's just like partying and doing drugs, but you can't die, and then orgies and stuff like that. And it's like, well,
Consensual orgies?
Yeah, absolutely. Consensual orgies. We would never definitely consent. Where it's like in heaven, it's just like, well, you get married to who you get married to. It's like, well, that sounds fucked up. This guy sounds rational over here. That's what I'm saying. We've never got his side. And all I'm saying is if I'm trying to throw a birthday party where all you do is come to my birthday party and you sing happy birthday to me, but you guys want to go to Greg's party, I'm going to shit on Greg's party. I don't care what Greg has over there. He could have kegs,
Is there some sort of magical power though? Because like everybody gets to sit at the hand of Jesus, but like billions of people, like how close are you going to be? Like you're going to be miles back from Jesus, so like you're not even getting good seats to this thing. Like, do you guys like slowly like walk by him so you get to eventually like be next to it? Like at what point? Like
that's what it is. Through eternity, you just get
slowly do circles
while singing songs about Jesus. That sounds like. You know how scary that would be if I punished them? Like, imagine a deity punishes you to that. Like, for the rest of time, all you get to do is sing All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's the only song you get to sing for the rest of your life. But your family will be there. And you're going to be like, you fucking monster. Like, that's what you're going to be like.
See, my wife had a bad trip right before we got married. And she went into like the death spiral of like being born, living, dying, being born, living, dying. And she thought that was what eternity was going to be like. And that kind of like broke her religious take. She's like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not. And so it fucked up like her view of death. I think that's comforting. That's probably not going to be the way that it goes. Is most likely you die and this consciousness is just gone. And so either it's a reset and you go somewhere else, but I don't think the rest of eternity, never-ending time spent sitting next to Jesus, I don't think that's really heaven either.
My thing is obviously, like, I feel my presence. You can feel your presence, and it's hard to believe that this goes away. Your consciousness goes away, but your meat suit is what's retaining all the memories and everything. So your brain, the things that are of this world is retaining all memories. So even if you do go somewhere else, even if we're all just part of energy that belongs in the universe, whatever, I don't think that you are going to retain the memories of this life.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what everybody, like that's one of the selling points of heaven is that you get to retain this thought process and this personality. And then now you get to go live eternally for the rest of your life in this same consciousness. But now you're in this glorious place.
Right. So you could just get to be in heaven singing songs about Jesus, thinking about that one time he was beating off to porn. And then right when you climaxed, it was where the guy's just like, yeah. And you're like, no, fuck.
Well, yeah, you were, what's that, audio asphyxiation, like where, it's taken out a
autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, so like you were like right at the end and you didn't stand back up. You just
the craziest part is when you think of how many celebrities we lost to that.
Lost. Like as in, like those are some of the conspiracy theories I like, is where they talk about, taking out celebrities because they were onto something that they shouldn't have been onto and trying to do something about it.
Chester Bennington.
Yeah.
Who else? I know he was about to expose the Democrats for their pizzas.
Supposedly.
Yeah, and that's why they took him out.
And that's the thing, though, is that these people believe that it was just the Democrats. It's just people that think on the left. There's nobody on the right.
I'm sorry,
everybody
but people
on the
don't.
right is a warrior for the children, and they just protect them with all their might.
That's what I'm saying. That, like, if you talk to a real crunchy mom, they'll be like, suicide, nobody really wants to kill themselves, okay? People are being killed because they have information on the Democrats that they're going to expose. Robin Williams, Chester Bennington, my 16-year-old son. They were all targeted by George Soros because they had information on the Democrats that were going to. And I'm just like, I think you are currently in a psychotic break. You know, I told you my wife started making bread and shit, and I was like, it's coming. It's coming. This is how it starts. You know,
at least your kids were already vaccinated.
Yeah, we're getting really close to, you know, everything being all natural, and then it's all natural because it came from God, and then this is how God wants us to live. And then she gets on to well, you know what? I think we should have more kids because who am I to say that we're done having babies? And that's when I was like, no. I remember my brother saying that because he, you know, people who do drugs, when they get off drugs, they find God. And that's something that I've always saw in, you know, my friends, which I'm glad they got off drugs.
A lot of times the God is the way that they can basically develop the self-discipline through some sort of religion.
Instead of through themselves, instead of finding the strength through themselves, which, I mean, people who are just like, I was done with drugs and, you know, I want to be the person that my family wants, they usually stay off of it, where once the, you know, faith in the addict, once the faith starts to falter, that's when their will to stop doing drugs starts to falter. But he was just like, you know what? He's like, I'm gonna have kids for as long as God lets me have kids. And I'm just like, you ain't even got a job, dog.
Yeah, stop procreating.
Yeah, I think he's on the bus of you being done. I think the only reason it's pushed so hard that God wants kids is because we need workers. You know what I'm saying? Couple generations from now, we're going to need all hands on deck to really produce stuff.
No, we won't. We'll have the AI robots. They'll be taking over for that.
That's what I'm saying. Like when people are like so anti-abortion, it's like, well, you got to have people in the children yearn for the mines. Yeah, we gotta get them working. And then, you know, it was not too long ago where they were like, hey, we need to push the working age to, like, if you want to get a job at 14, who's to stop you from helping out your family? And it was like, oh, when you think about it, it's like, oh, that's a nice thing. You know, a 14-year-old can go work at and it's like, hey, what are you doing? And it's like, yeah, we need to take away all the restrictions on 16-year-olds having jobs, really get them in the factories early. You ain't got to finish high school. Let's get you into a factory now and start producing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence on that because I do think it's good for a kid to have a job, like to learn some sort of responsibilities, have their own money. Like that's where I was at. And that's what kind of shocks me about what's going on right now, because you couldn't stop me. Like I tried to get my working papers before I was even eligible to do it. I was trying to find any way to get a job so that I could make some money.
Right.
And like kids now are just like, I don't need a job. I'm good. Like why do I need a job?
I mean, there is a difference between saying, hey, you know, get some responsibility, kind of see how it's going to be like being an adult, and then, you know,
full-time job working in the factory.
Yeah, 10-year-old fucking just out there. Well, they can really fit into the spaces to clean out these machines.
Yeah, there's a difference between that. But I think that's where the whole what jobs are meant for kids, and yeah, working at a factory is.
But I think I'm on board now that we could turn Mike and Dylan hate drama into Mike and Dylan love God and politics, and that's how we win. That's how we create the foundation of, and that's all we do because it makes so much money that we're like, we don't have to follow our dreams or nothing like that. We don't have to work towards anything. All we have to do is press record, talk about the crazy shit that's happening. You know, Democrats are trying to eat people, okay, by the thousands, but only babies. And then they're trying to turn the kids gay. And it's like, what are they doing? Are they trying to turn them gay or are they trying to eat them? And it's like both. That's what they're trying to eat, gay kids. And it's like, whoa.
Because the adrenochrome is.
That's right. It's more rich. It's more rich coming from a homosexual child. Yes, a homosexual baby. That's what you want to do. Is you want to eat the homosexual babies for the premium adrenochrome. Trans, if you can turn that gay baby trans, then you could really eat them. Also, at the same time, gay and trans does not exist, but they're trying to turn your kids into that. So when they eat them, the adrenochrome is premium because you have regular adrenochrome. Like you get a subscription for it. This is what the Democrats want. And then you have the premium subscription where you get the gay baby blood and the transgender baby blood.
So is a gay transgender baby?
It doesn't matter.
The top of the subscription model? Or?
It doesn't matter. We could change what the subscription model has in it. It doesn't matter. As long as we talk about it, people are going to listen, and we are going to. I remember I was working with one guy, and he was really thick in the sauce. And he would always bring up flight patterns. He would just look at flight patterns all day and be like, "Why are they flying over here so much? I wonder what's going on." And he was like, "Well, because I really study my own things," and he just was really, really stuck on flight patterns. And he was very sad that his wife died.
He was a flat earther.
I don't know. But he was very stuck on that. And I was like, there's going to come a moment where you have that mental break and you really deal with this. And I was like, that's going to be either you're going to be able to come to terms, or it ends up with you shooting up a McDonald's because, Mexicans go there. That's how it always ends.
It's just so wild how much conspiracies, and not even fun conspiracies, just shitty conspiracies.
I remember how we could used to talk about conspiracies without people being like, wow, Republican? Because usually people who talked about conspiracies were the people that were
on the outskirts.
Yeah, they were on the outskirts. They were like, look, man, they're two wings of the same bird. Now, if you talk about conspiracies, it's just like, well, you are definitely a Republican.
I think 9/11 probably changed that for us.
No. I mean, there was a good point after 9/11 where I'm just saying, look, if the fire is so hot that it can melt steel beams, but in the rubble you find all the passports to everybody on the airplane, some kind of information is being left out.
I don't know that they found all the passports to all the people.
They did, yeah. They got all the passports. They didn't burn up.
That sounds ludicrous.
It's like ludicrous.
That sounds like the internet telling you a story. That does not sound like a
No. It's just like the fucking guy from Marion Bank or whatever. I forget what bank it is, where he was the CEO and hadn't missed a day in 30 years. But because of God, he missed that day taking his wife to the hospital. And it's not like, what? So he knew, and it's like, no, God. And it's like, no, well, backtrack a little bit. All right, backtrack just, let's rewind. Never missed a day in 30 years. Mm-hmm. And today, the day where they are both destroyed, demolished, looking kind of, the planes definitely demolished them because they fell all the way down like a demolition would. He missed that day to take his wife, and it's like, yep, that's God. And I was like, no, I don't think that's how God works. And it's like, well, God works in mysterious. I was like, no, I get that. Okay, I get that part. I don't think that's how God works, though. You know what I'm saying? Also, too, have you seen the videos where it's like people on the bottom? They're like, yeah, you just heard explosions all the way down. Like the firefighters are talking about it. There was it felt like a planned demolition, and they're out of the building. Their faces are bleeding. They're fucking covered in soot and shit. They're like, we heard bombs go off. And I'm just like, God, 9/11 feels like the most. It's not a conspiracy ever, or it is a conspiracy ever, where it's just like, we have given this to you with all the details. But it was Muslims. It was like, no, it just feels like it was y'all. It was like, yeah, this is how it heavily looks. Every bit of information points to this was an inside job. To the guy who fucking, owned the World Trade Centers getting double the payout because 2 planes hit. It was like two separate, it was like 2 separate terrorist attacks. All of it points to us. But guess what? Muslims.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's one of those things is it doesn't matter about the Muslims because we paid for all the training, for all that stuff for countless Muslims to do counterterrorism activities overseas. We paid bin Laden multiple times and gave him all kinds of weapons and things like that.
We flew his family out of America when the terrorist attacks happened.
But that's the hard part is that you then become a crazy for whatever side that they want to paint you as. Like if it was the Republicans that said, hey, this looks like an inside job, or if it's the left wing, then, you're crazy on one of the sides. Once again, it can't just be like, hey, maybe it's the government that's fucking us. And It's not a left or a right. It's the government.
Well, maybe they just wanted to pass some laws together that there is certain times in life when Republicans and Democrats come together on something, and it's never to help us out. No. It is always to take something away. Yeah. Whether it be, martial law or whatever. They come together at the exact time where it's like, we got to fuck these guys over. They never come together when it's something that's going to help us out.
I mean, the Patriot Act then led to like Snowden shit. And when they were talking about Snowden, it's like, no, he's an enemy of the United States. No, he's not. He's the guy that showed us all that you are spying on us.
That's when I lost faith in America. That's when I lost complete faith in people, because they did that poll on, and it was like, 56% of people that view Snowden as an enemy of the state. And I'm like,
how?
What? Well, you give me back my glorious little nerdy man. You bring him back, and you parade him as a hero. And it was like, no, we'll parade him through the fucking streets before we hang him. And I'm like, what? No, you guys are fucking.
Well, and how can you even trust the poll though? Like that's the thing is.
Oh, the same polls that said Hillary Clinton was going to landslide Donald Trump. And I was just like, I'm driving down the road and I'm like, all I see is Donald Trump signs. How is?
Well, I mean, you would only see that down here. Like that's not a mystery.
Well, I mean, historically, North Carolina does vote blue. So
no, it's a very purple state. Like it is very purple. It is literally pretty much right down the middle.
Well, I think it's because of, the last two elections where North Carolina did go with Barack Obama. So it was just like, you did see that, and you saw a lot of like people, you saw a lot of Obama love. But then when I'm going down North Carolina, who is a very purple state, and I mean, technically where North Carolina leans is where the presidency goes.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah, because when they went Bush won. When they went Obama won. So, going down, and I'm like, well, fuck, I've not seen a lot of people going, yeah, Hillary. Why is it that when it's like we need a president to run, a woman president to run, they're like, we have picked the worst option.
Well, and that's the thing. And my parents used to get on my case about that. But I was like, no matter what you think about Hillary, period, done. You can see that there's been a concerted effort for fucking 30 years to try and like run this lady's name through the mud. Good or bad, whether it's true or not, like I don't give a fuck. Like does not matter. However, there's been that much effort to fucking mudsling her the whole time. What do you think when it comes time to cast a ballot that's going to make that just landslide the other way? Like, no, like there's such a concerted effort to like hate her, rightfully so or not. Like, does not matter. That's not the part that I'm talking about. The part that I'm talking about is like, it's been done. And so nobody, unless you are dyed in the fucking wool, a blue voter, you are not going to be happy to vote for her. So you have all these people in the middle and independents and anywhere that makes up this election.
Fuck you. Like as soon as I take the dip out, it's like, we're going to show both sides.
Yeah. But in that case, like, why did you pick her to be like, and it's not we need a woman president. Like we need the most qualified son of a bitch. And so it should be woman, man, whatever. Find somebody good.
When Barack ran, there wasn't shit on Barack. Like there was nothing. It was just like, hey, we have first black president, speaks very rationally, speaks about, values and stuff like that. Is very, doesn't shit on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't never, called Republican voters troglodytes and shit like that. So we run this guy out. He says some things, and what he's able to do is he's able to sway people, okay? The people that are in the center. That's what you have to worry about. It's not like, back in the day where Republicans and Democrats had to, they could go to farms and tell farmers and stuff. Well, you could do that. And that's where Barack that's where the time where Barack Obama came up from. So he's going and telling these people that, hey, like I care about the people, Joe the plumber and shit like that. All of that stuff. And then you have a guy that you don't have Benghazi. You don't have the whole email fiasco. You don't have all this terrible things. Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama hadn't, had sex with an assistant. There wasn't all this, stuff on Michelle Obama where it was Michelle Obama sleeping with kids on an island and all this stuff you had for Hillary. And it's like, why? Then do you pull the trigger on that? Because then that tells everybody in the center, it's like, do you agree with this person who thought security was so much of a non-issue that a bunch of American troops died? Like, how do you use that person? And then you go into Kamala. So then you have Kamala who, the whole prisoner thing of having them, on the front lines fighting fires and shit like that. Normally the people who died fighting fires. And then when you have her, and also this is a non-choice by the Democrats. The Democrats didn't say, hey, we choose Kamala. The DNC the DNC said, it's Kamala. That's it.
That's been the case for 20 fucking years.
Yeah. I digress.
There's never a choice.
Right. I digress.
This is who we want.
This is who you get. And then to have her sit there and say, hey, I saw nothing wrong with what Joe Biden did. And that's when everybody in the center was just like, wow, I guess we're going back to the old Donald well.
No, that like none of that really played a difference. Like the whole thing is that it's the people in the middle see that they're fucked. And so they choose which side of the fuck that they're going to get. And like in these cases, yes, they pick Donald Trump or they don't show up for.
Right.
And so it's time and time again that these people have no choice. Like, because I'm sorry, in 2016, the fact that we had Trump and Hillary, those were two non-choices.
That was, yeah.
Like, and I know how Trump could rile people up and get like, because you believe that the words that he's saying,
it just felt different for them. Yeah, it felt different because also he didn't have that career politician thing going. So I think that's what they really latched onto. And then when, you're gay, like as soon as he says something crazy about it, he's like, oh wow, this really isn't a politician. So I can see how people got hyped up for him the first time. But then, you go through the fiasco of his presidency, nothing got better. Joe Biden, definitely nothing got better. Back to back, two of the worst presidential runs that we ever had. And then you're telling me that the election directly after that is either you get the whole Donald Trump experience again, or you get Kamala, who stated there was nothing wrong with Joe Biden's presidency.
That's the thing, though, is it's not even so much on politics as it is like the reason why Obama was so good is because of the way that he could bring an audience to get excited. And like that's why Trump is where he is, because he can get people excited. I don't see how they can spend 40 minutes listening to him ramble on. It's like listening to this podcast and you're going to have us run the fucking country. Like, really, guys? Like, we should be running the country? Really? Us?
Right. Yeah.
And that's what it's like listening to one of his speeches. And I'm just like, he's an idiot for the most part. Like, he is very entertaining. Sure. I don't want that as my president. And like with Kamala, she does not inspire. She inspires some people. However, she is not this well-spoken, like can rile up a crowd and get everybody motivated. Like you look at a Bernie, like that's why like when it went from Obama to who's next in line, Bernie can rile up a crowd. He can bring people out. He brought people out. Like he is the type of person that could get people to take an action. Then you look at Hillary and fucking Elizabeth Warren, like all these other people, none of them could bring a crowd like Bernie, Trump, Obama. All those people could get people to move.
Right.
And you picked a lady who couldn't get 500 people to come out to see her event. And I went to Bernie rallies where there was like thousands of people and then people standing outside just to be there because they thought it was going to be this like big monumental shift. And had it been Trump versus Bernie, it could have been an actual race. You don't know how it would have went. It could have been Bernie. It could have been Trump. But at least you would have given a chance. Running Hillary by choosing and like putting their thumb on the scale, they completely fucked their whole side. And then it became for literally the last few elections, whether, Biden won or didn't win. I still don't think that was a conspiracy, but it could be. But it's one of those things where you have these lackluster candidates and then
I remember when Trump won and everybody was like, well, it's the Russians. And then Joe Biden won and they were like, well, it's the Russians. The Russians are interfering with all this. And I'm just like, man, why the fuck do the Russians care this much to interfere in all the elections? I
mean, I could see it. I don't believe it.
Right.
I think it is social media and people without any sort of education on the matter can say whatever they want. And then people are like, did you hear what Joe Biden said? Or did you hear what Trump said? He's going to kill everybody. Like it doesn't matter what is said. People can run with it in the virality of social media. But like with the Russians, it is good to make the United States unstable, us not trust our elections. Like all of that is good for any other world power. It doesn't matter whether it's China, Russia, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's on our team.
Yeah, pretty much. So pretty much diet America. Yeah,
they pay for us to.
Well, I mean, America's pretty much diet. So they own a lot of America.
Yeah.
Which I love how it's always been like, well, you got to watch out for the Chinese. You got to watch out for the Russians, and it's just like, well, Saudi Arabia owns Chicago, so they're just like we're just buying, which they have infinite money there.
Yeah. Well,
Look.
they're the literal like epicenter for oil, and so, but like with China and all that stuff, for the most part, I think.
I mean, unless we get Vietnam. Not
Venezuela?
Vietnam, but Venezuela, yeah. And then we just call it Venezuela, America, and now America's now the epicenter of, unless we're actually doing this for Saudi Arabia, and then they get to own more oil. I don't know how it works.
But with like China, I do think they want to be a gigantic world power, but for the most part, they're like, we don't want to have a war. We'll fight you on, selling you shit. But like, they don't want to necessarily drop bombs and shit like that. At least not yet. I haven't been seen. But like, for the most part, they're just wanting to be left the fuck alone, and we make shit.
That's why I say, though, we need a new Nazi, and not the Nazis we have today, because, ooh.
It's been done already.
Yeah. I mean, our Nazis are not as exciting. The other Nazis, they were more exciting because they really riled up the world to fight against them, The world's not riled up. We need, and that's what I'm saying, Dylan, is you can bite the head on the nail. You could be the new Adolf Hitler, okay? But essentially what you got to do is you got to excite the world to fight against you. You got to unite the world to fight against you.
I think you're more charismatic of a person.
Maybe I do need to do it. Yeah, maybe I need to do it. And I'm going to start it all with pedophiles. Because that's what you do, man. No, Adolf Hitler doesn't start off by saying, hey, I want to kill all the Jews. That's not how Adolf Hitler starts. Adolf Hitler starts with saying, hey,
y'all are hungry.
Germany's in disarray. Everybody's hungry, fighting against the cost of living, things that I've already brought up. All I'm saying, I have a track record of saying this, okay? And then I start the whole pedophilia thing where we got to kill pedophiles. That's a great thing. Everybody has been, their lives have been touched by a pedophile. I specifically worded it that way for maximum funniness, all right? So, all right, I have this base that I'm on, and I'm like, oh, by the way, this demographic, and I don't know what demographic I'm picking yet, and just no demographic, I'm sorry for picking you.
Somebody's got to go down.
Somebody does, yes. I have to be very evil at some point, because that's
40% of them are pedophiles.
This is why aliens would be so much easier, though. Aliens would be if an alien could do it, but I don't think an alien's going to come do it, so I have to do it for the aliens, and that's who I'm doing it for. And then in this way that I just worded it, it kind of makes sense, but it's also really Looney Tunes that I am killing off this demographic for the aliens because the aliens won't do it. But really what I'm doing is I'm uniting the world to fight me. I don't have armies yet. I will have armies. So I got to pick a demographic that is hated the most. I got to do my research. Or I can make the demographic. I could take, who would I take? Because I was saying, who could I sway on my side? The easiest one that everybody hates is pedophiles. So if I had an army of pedophiles, which just guys, we got to fight wars here. Okay?
Got to be rational with this.
Yeah, we got to fight wars here. Okay, all you guys are doing is talking about kids all day. Okay, look, I need some, and I guess that's why Hitler fed the Nazis meth.
We feed our soldiers meth too.
Fuck yeah! I've seen a meth head fight a couple cops at one time. That's who I want fighting for me, is a really methed up pedophile. So I don't know how it's going to work. Okay, because
still working out the details.
It is the act that I am doing, bringing the world together. But that's how you got to start it. You got to start it with the good stuff. Look, this episode's going through. I don't give a fuck.
Every episode goes through.
Yeah, but this one is not going to be a ghost episode. We are going to be on record where Mike says that he is going to be the new Adolf Hitler with either a stance on killing all pedophiles or an army of pedophiles. He doesn't know. I don't know how any of this works. I don't know what Hitler thought, too, of going into... I think he just believed his own shit.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you start something in motion and then it starts getting away from you. And
you just kind of have a playbook of it's adaptability. Yeah. Like Hitler was just adaptable. He was like, oh, fuck, people don't like this. I need to switch to this. And he just kept flipping it around.
Yeah, just sensing where the wind was going.
I do want to stay on record, too, that I don't think the Nazis that we already have in America are really cutting it for the world uniting against them.
No, they're just shit stains.
They are. I don't get it, man. In essence, it's a good play if you're going to start a new Nazi organization to say, hey, if you want to become someone who can enforce laws, just come sign up and we'll send you to different cities to grab Hispanic people. It feels like the lamest people. Like I look at the Nazis, man, at least all them guys were like polished. You know what I'm saying? Like they had chins and shit like that. Like he got men to do it. I think that's the scary part about the Nazis. This Nazis is just like if it's a battlefield and I'm fighting an ICE agent in hand-to-hand combat, I win that easily. There's nothing scary about that. I'm not terrified. Like what country has to come in and help against that?
We'll see.
Like what country has to come in and help, people who don't like the fucking really crazy far right guys, if walking to a mailbox is a detriment to them. Like they can just die of a heart attack. Like imagine after the Civil War that eventually will happen in America, you're just going to be in the woods one day. Maybe you and your kids are playing in the woods and you're going to find a soldier, a soldier from the Nazi side, and they're just going to be dead. They just had a heart
attack.
Yeah, diabetes. They didn't bring their diabetes medication there because they were like, yes, this should be more expensive.
See, I think that's the crazy thing is right at the election time, I thought we were closest as we've ever been to Civil War. And then everything kind of petered out because like the crazy that was brought was substantial. And so then people were like, wait a second. Is this, we're not actually doing that, right? Oh, we are. Okay. All right. I don't agree anymore.
Right. That's what I like too, is that they were just like, we're going to go so fucking crazy that I guess the people that were in the center that kind of went right and the people that were not in the far end of the right spectrum were just like, whoa, wait a minute. What? He was on the island? Like we got proof now? They're trying to do what? They're trying to start camps for Hispanic people. This sounds familiar. Oh, fuck. They are crazy. Like it is. And look, I'm absolutely on the fence of, two wings of the same bird. But sometimes one of the feathers from that bird can fly off in such a direction that everything gets kind of fucking Looney Tunes. And I think but I do think after this is all said and done, I think the world America kind of hits this kind of, we have these highs in one direction. And then it kind of levels out. And I think we're going to get to a level out stage. I think we're going to have semi-normal people run. Like I think if Republicans try to champion J.D. Vance after this, I think he gets destroyed by whatever Democrat they put up there. Because the right has been so abnormally fucking crazy that people are just going to be like, well, we need a break from this. So also,
we'll see. It depends on what the left decides to do, because if they continue with their playbook of like, this is who we're picking, you guys vote for him so that we can pick him. Oh, you guys didn't vote for him. Oh, we're still going to pick him anyways. That's going to be a shit show for continuing what's going on right now.
I am excited to see the new chapter after this because like Donald Trump's done. Like he is not like either they're going to make their own faction of America, which we don't know what's going to happen. We still have, 2 more years of this. So I am excited to see what kind of plays out.
It's like the shittiest sports program ever.
It is the worst. Yeah, it's the worst. It's like, what's going to happen? Because I don't think he just goes silently into the night.
Well, like if the Panthers lose, it sucks. You're like, oh man, that sucks. If shit goes crazy with politics, like it's like your life is affected.
Yeah, yeah.
Sports, you can be like, oh man, they're having a really good year, and then with this, it's like, oh man, we're having a really fucking bad.
I think it gets exponentially better if you're just like, if you just look at it through what the fuck is going, because it does feel like we're watching reality TV.
I want to change the channel.
Right, yeah, but we can't. We can't change the channel. We still got 2 more years of this channel. There's no channel changing. It's here.
Is this heaven?
And then I don't think it would be heaven. Maybe it is like the bad place where, we all talk about like, oh, you don't want to die and go to hell, but this is actually hell. Like we are actually in it.
We're in it right now.
You're listening to
I wish I would have fucking figured out my life before this then, because like my past life, if I could have not ended up in this reality.
How do I break this though? Like how do I become the person that I'm supposed to be to get out of this so I can transition?
But see, then you
just transition to a norm, like all of this except for like
it's normal.
It's just normal. Like it's just normal stuff.
Well, see, I just feel bad because like I love my family and like people around me, and so like if this is hell, this part of it's great, but then everything outside of that is just a shit show, like a dumpster fire of life.
I don't know, man. And it's to the point where I should someone making a joke where they're like, I need to become the new Adolf Hitler and start like a new Nazi regime to unite the world. Like that should be something bad. Like that should be, but you could say something like that and everybody be like, I get where that joke's coming from. Like I understand where that joke's coming
I can
from.
see the reality behind it.
Like that joke is not a tenth, not an iota, not a drop in the bucket of the crazy shit that goes on today. But look, if you are
still here,
if you are wanting to join our Nazi organization, you go to mikeanddyllan.com, Mikeanddyllan.com, and just put, well, what should their tagline be?
we should add a Patreon subscription level of like $100 and be like, if you want to join the movement.
If you want to join the movement. Fuck. Guys.
You know, the people that actually signed up for it, though, would be like probably some of the best people. Like,
that you could like possibly fucking like meet in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the most kindest people.
Not actually wanting to start an army. Just
oh
like,
my God.
nice.
That would be crazy to start like, that's what we need to do is we need to start a new ICE and be called ICE. But the 3 letters is just like the nicest form of group ever. And it's just like, oh, you're part of ICE. So you care about everybody. You don't care if somebody's gay. And it's like, no, we do. And it's like, no, you don't. We know what ICE is.
Ice cream enthusiasts.
Nah, I want it to be something just like really loving. That's what would be funny though. Then that's what, and like anybody who goes like, who has the Satanist card is just like, they're just like a person.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like a dude. Now we're going to
There's
say.
bad people in every group.
Well, I think real Satanists, because like the Satanist party was started by people who are not really Satanists.
No, they're like the fake people that want to like go in.
Yeah, Satanists, real Satanists, like die hard, the ones that want to drink your blood and shit. They don't just go out and be like, yeah, I'm a Satanist. Hey guys. They're like, they just look at you like, there's nothing wrong with me. I just want to see how you taste. And you're like, what? It was a what? I don't think
Satanist.
Yeah, they're not out there.
No, you're not.
They're not out there fucking chanting that, saying that with their chest. But guys, listen, this has been an episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama.
Hate.
Just, I don't even know what to say. We love you so much. If something happens to us, no, it was the other Nazi party that did it, okay? My Nazi party would have never done anything like that. We will see you next time.
Later.